Our next item is a strategic planning update, and I believe tonight we have Mr. Clark Cooper and Mr. Van Bowers are going to walk us through an update on where we are with the strategic plan. So just as an aside, I'm trying not to step on anybody's presentation, but our portfolio projects for leadership development and for Project Hope, we are going to do those in different months and just focus tonight on the 4 key commitments.
All right, well, good evening, and Dr. Little, Madam Chair, members of the board. Mr. Bowers and I are going to give y'all a brief but informative update of the mid-year point of our strategic plan progress. We are in, of course, year 2 of our 3-year strategic plan, and as Dr. Little has reiterated with us time in and time out that year 2 is the tough year. I mean, the excitement and the buzz and the planning has all taken place. You get into the grind of the work, and I'll just say a word that I think's been key with him, with us and his team, and also heard Mr. Smith say it is focus, but maintaining that focus as we move forward. Again, just share this with you as we have several times before, but the system commitments and then the outcomes, those power skills that we're looking for in our students, that is key. Those commitments are our drivers. It's the filter that we really vet everything through in terms of the work that is going on with accomplishing our performance goals. Without that, what we have is a random collection of good ideas, and we don't have that focus, but this does give us focus so that we can carry out the vision and accomplish the mission of Lexington School District 1. Throughout the fall, there have been three bodies that have really been monitoring the work that our schools and the district have been doing. The school support teams, those are comprised of school staff, teachers, as well as representatives from different divisions here at Central Services. They meet 3 times a year to look at data, look at all the inputs, whether it's achievement data, survey data, discipline attendance data, and look at that and determine what decisions need to be made. The Central Services members are key in terms of providing that support based upon what the school says is important to them and the needs that they have at the time. The strategy and action team is comprised of representatives of every division here in Central Services, as well as school principals from the elementary, middle, and high school level. And their focus is really on synthesizing the information that comes from those strategic school support teams and making sense of it and filtering it through to the senior leadership team, the leaders of each division here at Central Services that look at things from the big picture and can have the authority to allocate resources where needed. And at all times with all 3 of these groups, there's three questions being asked at each level, and it's what have we done, what's been working, and what needs improvement. And of course, we have the performance goals from the strategic plan, but as we look at that, there are some of those goals rose up in terms of not necessarily more importance, but where can we be more impactful and assist more students. And that's what we're going to share with you tonight, is what we look at as being our areas of emphasis, and they come from the first 3 of our performance goals of the strategic plan. Are students progressing on time and increasing the percentage of students that are progressing on time? That's where we live in schoolwork, right there with that first one. Improving equity in our high-level coursework enrollments with performance goal 2, and improving the performance with our students' high-level coursework. Those are the 3 areas where we are focused and attempting to ensure that our strategies are as effective as they can be. And Mr. Bowers is going to share with you the strategies that we have, and they're going to be organized into a framework. There's so much that is going on. We've got them organized into, I think, 3 fairly strategic categories. What is being currently implemented, what is in the design phase, and what strategies are we exploring and are looking at for moving forward in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
As Mr. Cooper said, certainly performance goal number one is where we live. And this is where I can see a lot of folks here in the audience that spend a lot of time with goal one. And when we talk about all means all, this is where that lives as well. So what I'd like to talk about at this point is what we're currently implementing in terms of goal number one. And as you can see that we have a consistent instructional model for literacy and mathematics when we talk about our workshop model that I know that all of you have had the opportunity to observe. Innovative professional learning strategies. You've also heard us speak about the model classrooms and the lab sites. We feel like that this is certainly more productive as our teachers are actually doing rather than listening and sit and get and so forth. You've also seen some of our work in inclusive service and intervention models when we talk about being more inclusive and pushing in with RTI and special ed services. Professional learning, we've had professional learning on teaching historically underrepresented students. Now, talk a little bit about the designing process for this goal. These are things that we're currently working on at this point. We're working very hard on collaborating services. We feel like we've made a lot of headway in terms of services for RTI and services for special ed, and certainly communicating more effectively with those. We're also working very hard on our power skills integration and assessment. I know Mr. Bissell's working hard with that. And reading recovery expansion in first grade. We're seeing quite good results with reading recovery. And also our HR department's working really hard on strategic hiring so that we can certainly bring in the best and brightest here to Lexington 1 to do this work. Something that's not up there that we've talked a little bit about in the past and a little bit tonight is our 4K and early childhood programs. We're also working to expand those, and we have done so over the past 3 to 4 years, and we're going to continue that. All right, now, some things that we're exploring. So as we study where we've been and where we want to go, we're in the infant stages here with these things, but certainly we're trying to look at what works, and we're trying to duplicate that. When you think of things like the model classroom and lab sites and our push-in models, we certainly have principals and teachers learning from other principals and teachers who have successfully implemented these things, and so we're trying to expand those things. Also, we're looking at a program that's based out of North Carolina for academic and career enrichment for employees' children, actually support staff children as an employee benefit. So that sounds very exciting, but again, we're in the infant stages of learning about this so that we can continue to enhance performance goal number one. So now we move to performance goals 2 and 3, and this is having to do with implementing strategies to improve equity in high-level coursework. And we certainly are seeing some positive moves with this in terms of more groups being represented and higher-level coursework. We still need to look for more evidence and more strategies for helping those students progress when they get to that higher level work. So some of the things that we're already working on and implementing, and this comes out of Dr. Phillips' office, talent search dashboard to identify students who may be successful in high level courses. And so this dashboard helps principals identify students that may not have been identified by other means. So that's certainly very exciting. more inclusive student placement and scheduling in the middle and high schools, dual enrollment expansion in all high schools and LTC, and a growth in AP across the system with highest rates at Gilbert High School and Pillion High School.
Van, that
Yes.
talent search dashboard, so essentially that's the yearly standardized testing that then identifies students who then the guidance counselors and the principals say, hey, you can do this, you can do an AP class, have you thought about it? Is
Right.
that the work?
Right.
Is that
The
process?
dashboard is a set of data that Dr. Phillips and his team works out. We use the dashboard all the time. It synthesizes the data that we can go in and quickly look, and it can be used by principals, APs, guidance counselors, anyone that is advising a student for higher level coursework.
But the data sources are the yearly standardized testing? What's the data?
That, yeah, if you'd like.
It is that, it's also some of the formative assessment we give during the years, the STAR stuff, that tracks kind of historically how that child's done over time and flags certain ones as ones you might need to take a closer look at.
Okay, now, some things that we're designing in terms of goals 2 and 3. We're doing some piloting, provisional placement for gifted and talented at the elementary school. We have this working in several schools. This allows for students that normally would not have qualified to enter into gifted and talented services. And we've already seen that having them in there provisionally has ensured their success the following year. So we're working on that to refine that, and excited about that. Integrated push-in delivery for gifted services in several schools. We're also exploring AVID at elementary, middle, and high school levels. Professional learning offerings focused on belonging and inclusion. The integration of and development of power skills, and the College Center, which is scheduled to open at Gilbert High School in the fall of 2020. All right, and in the exploring category, the Governor's School for Science and Math partnerships for distance learning courses, and from what I understand, that when we get this worked out, that teachers from the Governor's School can actually communicate with our students via technology in real time. That's very exciting. Additional dual enrollment partnerships and high-level courses through new partners. We working with USC Sumter, Midlands Tech. So the dual enrollment partnerships we're very proud of those. Advanced learning opportunities, offerings, and non-traditional subject areas such as some of the coursework from the Technology Center, particularly in the medical field, to enable students to partake in those higher level courses. And then finally, we've seen opportunities for differentiated support. And basically the essence of this is that there are no two kids that are alike. And there really are no two schools that are alike. We have a wide variety of schools here in our district. And so, we're looking at ways in which we can cater to the individual needs of schools in terms of the support that we give. And we like to say that equal is not always equitable. So collaborating among the Office of Accountability and Assessment, Strategy and Action Team has been very instrumental in this process. The analyzation of multiple data points to customize support and targeting support based on student needs. And then, of course, the support that is giving, how do we monitor for the effectiveness of the supports that we give. So that is our strategic plan update to this point. Are there any questions?
I have a question. Under Performance Goal 1, you had academic and career enrichment for employees' children. Can you tell us more about that?
I can.
I
go
really
back in there,
can't,
too.
to be honest with you, because
I can.
I'm
I
going to
got you.
yield to Dr. Little.
Yeah, so one of the things that we're trying to do is to create systems of support in this particular thing for some of our lowest paid employees, for their children. So think of it like, if you've heard of, and I hate to use this word, but the Duke Tip program, where you have mentors, academic support, opportunities that we would partner with, say, like USC, we've talked about that. And providing them and just supporting them academically in really powerful ways, and starting that in the 5th or 6th grade, and then having that carry through all the way through high school. And so we think that could be a really powerful opportunity for our employees and their families, and build a lot of that cultural capital and networking that is so important for success.
Okay, thank you.